we better get a move on here.
Talk about, well, I was going to ask you about last week, the emotional game that it was, now you get a week off. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's such an emotional game.
This late in the year, the players want to play games. They don't want to practice. But I like the fact that we had some time off just because I'm thinking about March. I don't think it'll help us Saturday because you worry about not being sharp because you haven't played. And your players definitely would rather play than practice this time of year. So as a coach, you try to manage that. You can only withstand so many battles in a practice session this time of year. So you got to be smart about it. We tried to be all week. Try to pick it up here as the week went on. And obviously, Connecticut had a game Wednesday. So you never know how that stuff factors in. I'm worried about us losing our conditioning a little bit. But we got a couple days here to pick it back up. Hopefully, get ready.
With Connecticut and them coming off that game, they won by 6, I think. You probably saw that game or saw a little bit of it.
They paid me to watch the other team play.
Handsomely, in fact, a lot if you ask some people. But
depends who you ask.
I know.
I wish you were right.
Oh, let's not go there. But what's different about them in 3 weeks, or is anything different than the last time you saw them?
What Daniels was hurt against us, so that's a factor. He didn't play the first time we played. I think they're like the rest of us. It's late in the year. I think all these kids maybe have an eye on the NCAA tournament, and you have to try to keep your team focused, whether it's UConn or us. But just speaking of UConn, when Shabazz Napier plays great, they're great. Very similar to us with SK. He can beat you by himself. He's logged a lot of miles. You just gotta hope that Saturday's not one of the days where he gets 35 on you, like he did against Memphis a few weeks ago. We did a great job on him the first time we played here. But knowing how great of a player he is, he's going to be looking for redemption. Shabazz Napier is going to be looking for redemption against us. Not just a win, but he's going to want to. Knowing him, you got to think he's going to be geared up to play against us on Saturday. So we've got to do maybe an even better job at just making sure that we don't let him go crazy against us, because he's more than capable.
You probably have to change things up maybe a little bit this time, and if he adjusts to what you've done.
Well, we got to make sure that what you can't do against a great player is let him get going by losing him. Like you let a guy get, Central Florida lost SK early, and you let him start getting target practice and find his rhythm. So if you let a guy like Shabazz Napier get a few wide open threes, now he's got his rhythm. The basket grows and expands, and now he starts to make tough shots on you. And that's what you can't let happen. So, the way I say it to our guys, we can't let him get started. We got to make everything hard on him. Try not to let him ever find a rhythm on you. That's when you're playing against a shooter or scorer. That's really your goal. Just never let him get into that groove.
You have Sean going the way he's going. Are you seeing teams doing a little bit of everything against him, or have they got to that point?
Well, he's a guy, because of our style of play, we try to fast break. He can play with the ball and create his own shot much more now than he used to. He's not relying upon us running him off screens anymore. And we have an interior game. We can throw the ball inside, so you can't just load up on shot. I think we've gotten better at making teams pay to do that. And a big part of that is Justin being in the game with our interior presence. I think Jermaine Lawrence's development is going to be a huge key for us down the stretch. I think he's getting back to being where he was before the Memphis game. Every practice, he's getting closer and closer to that. If I was, when you look at the last Connecticut game, I'm sure they think that SK kind of took control of the game a little bit in the second half. So you got to think that they're going to be try to be more in tune with not letting him beat them.
He's been, speaking of SK, a great campaign manager for him all year, and now he's one of the finalists for the Oscar trophy. It's nice for him to get some national attention finally.
Well, it's great, especially, it means a lot for SK to be a finalist for the Oscar Robertson Award. Being that, Oscar Robertson's watched him play for the last few years, so I would think, you know, from all the awards, the Player of the Year awards, that's the one to a Cincinnati player that would mean the most. You know, but he's more than deserving of his nomination to that award, and I think he's in the top 5 finalists for that award if I was in the vote. I think, and being as objective as I can, I say that.
You said earlier focus about keeping the focus. Having such a tough stretch down the road here, does that help keep that focus?
Well, our guys would rather play in big games, but my concern right now is us feeling like we're ready to get into the tournament time. You know, I find out a lot this time of year. You know, I watch certain teams play, and it's almost like they maybe have one eye on the NCAA tournament already. And that's because there's so much talk in the media about it. You know, bracketology and all these things, March Madness, and you know, we've got a chance to win a conference championship, and we got to stay focused. And we've done a great job of playing every game like it's the only game on the schedule, and that being our next game. So we got to play Saturday like it's the national championship, and you know, the seniors have helped me with that. I think that's probably been one of our biggest assets all year. But I'm very concerned about it. I try to stay in tune to them, you know, to what the players are hearing, and be realistic about what people are inundating them with. And they're watching games, and they're, you know, and all the talk is about Players of the Year and the Oscar Robertson Award and the NCAA tournament. We still have 3 regular season games. We got to make sure that we stay focused on that, or we're not going to win the championship.
Jay Bills was talking the other day about how you guys are the toughest teams, the hardest team in the country. What's that like? The outside area around it, to see this team as hard work, getting after it. Does that make you feel people see that identity?
Well, I think, you know, the biggest thing when I was hired 8 years ago was that we lost our identity, that there were no players left in the program, you know, and if I could have inherited Eric Hicks and James White and those kind of guys, we could have maintained our identity. And the problem was all the guys that we were able to bring in to have a team never got to play with those guys. So we had to build a culture from scratch. So, you know, whether it's Jay Billis or Digger Phelps and guys talking about our identity and how hard we play, that hasn't happened overnight. And you know, we have a saying on our team, you know, none of us are more important than our culture. Our culture is why we win. And our guys have a lot of pride in our program. Sure, I take a lot of pride in it because I've given 8 years of my life to it, and it hasn't been easy. And it's the reason that teams win. You know, if you ask Tom Izzo what he's most proud of at Michigan State, it's what he's built with their culture and what they stand for. But I knew this was going to happen this year. I told you guys all year I got the 3 hardest playing guys in the country. You know, SK, Titus, and Justin. And it's a luxury as a coach when your best 3 players are your 3 toughest guys. And those guys embody everything that I want our program to stand for. So I'm going to enjoy it for hopefully 6 more weeks.
The Iowa Award too. You're in the top 10 of that. He mentioned the Coach of the Year award. I know you. I can't remember. Henry Iowa. Yeah.
Sorry.
IPA. But no, at least that shows, you know, I mean, you've got to take some personal satisfaction, but also it's winning.
First of all, you talk about coaching awards, that means you're winning. Second of all, I look at that as coaching. I think those awards should be coaching staff awards. You know, I'll never forget my years as an assistant, and you don't do anything alone. And the last thing I would say is, you know, I'm a huge fan of Phil Jackson. He's got 11 rings, but I'm keenly aware of who played for him. So, you know, all that means is you're coaching really good players.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.